We are sitting outside of the Grand Design RV corporate office, which is right in front of the factory. And we have a meeting with Tom, who has invited us here to talk about some marketing opportunities on their new website, gdrvforlife.com. And also, we're going to go on a tour. We don't know if we can film on the tour quite yet, so
waiting for permission. You
may or may not go on the tour with us. But regardless, we will tell you what we've seen. We'll show you what we can.
Right.
And we're staying at the campground that's here. It's just for Grand Design owners, I believe. It's mainly if you're here getting service done, but we were allowed to come here because we were invited. So it's pretty neat here. We are absolutely surrounded by RV manufacturers.
Oh my goodness.
They are everywhere. We're just outside of Elkhart, Indiana. We're actually in Middlebury, right?
Yeah. Apparently this is the RV capital of the world. Where they're manufactured.
And I believe it too, because driving up and down the road, there's just manufacturers everywhere. We're gonna head into the building here in just a minute, and we'll see what we see. All right, we are getting a private tour with Tom Holt. So we're gonna be allowed to film inside. So let's head on in there. We got our vests, we got our glasses, and we've got the children too. So off we go. All right, so we are walking down the line. They are building our RV. So we're gonna go all the way down to the beginning where it's just a steel carriage, and then we're gonna work our way up. So we see how everything comes together, where they put the slides in, all of that. This is awesome. So that was a really cool tour.
Yeah.
We got to see our RV. Our RV is right here. It's right behind the camera, and it was built in that building right there. That is really cool. And we didn't time it or anything. We were just invited here by Tom, and they just happened to have an entire line of our RV being built from frame to finished, and we got to see every little step that it goes down. It was super cool.
Over, in between.
Yep, very, very cool. And they build it, I guess my favorite part is that the walls are last. They get the frame, they put all the tanks and everything inside of the frame, and then they put the furniture, everything that's not in the slides goes inside, and then they put the walls on, and then the slides go in. And the slides have all of their stuff inside the slides before they get attached to the RV. It's
cool.
Awesome.
I really liked seeing kind of how everything fits together, because kind of early on in the production of it, you can see like where the shower goes, and then where like the water hooks up to that, and then where it hooks up to then like where the washer and dryer is, and then it was just really cool. And even like seeing the gray tank underneath the sink, because it's not right underneath the sink, it has like a little pipe that goes up into where the island is, and just kind of the stuff that you never get a chance to see. It was really cool to see that.
Yeah, because when they build these things, they make use of every single little spot, because space is at a premium. Right. So it's kind of like an exploded view diagram, like an engineering diagram. In reality, because that's how they build it, so they have room to put everything in there.
Mommy, I'm making soup for you.
Oh, thank you for making soup for me. Thank
Brooke's
you.
making soup for us.
It's gonna be delicious. It looks so good. So, but I really liked also, we were able to go on top or see the top of them and how they were making that, and that was cool, but it was also kind of like peace of mind, because it's another part that I don't ever see, and so I don't know what it looks like on top.
It was funny, we went up in there and we went up top, And all of a sudden, Aaron and Tara were like, "Ooh!" And I'm like, "I'm up here all the time." So it was actually the first time, because as we were going down the line, you have the kind of the skeleton of the roof, and then it with insulation, and then they have the sheets of the. I can't remember the name of the material, but the sheets that go down, and Tom told us how they attached it. And then you get down to the end and you can see it finished. Like, I see it all the time, and Aaron was like, "Oh, that's what it looks like."
It looks so cool. but it was neat to see all the layers and all the insulation and all the stuff that just goes into the roof.
And for my peace of mind, it was nice seeing how much ribbing was in there, because I got to walk on that, and I'm not light.
Right.
So it was nice. I am no longer afraid to walk on that. I was always kind of hesitant to walk on it, but now that I know what I'm walking on, I'm good. And it was another thing that was really cool. Tom was talking about the frame on the bottom. There's more structure. There's 25% more framing in this reflection than there is in a comparable travel trailer from other manufacturers.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, we always knew that it was better quality.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. We always knew that it was better quality, but to really see it.
Yeah.
Was so cool.
Yeah.
I was so excited when he said, "Oh, look, we have your line," and I was like, "Oh, that's our house. That's what it is. That's so cool."
I'm the baking girl.
Okay, baking girl, bake me some soup. But it was also really neat to see kind of like the skeleton of like the outside kitchen. Another thing that you don't get to see, because you got to see into it and kind of see where all of the places are. And the new one, they took the microwave out of the outside kitchen.
It was funny because when we met Tom at the corporate office that you saw at the beginning of this video, but then we actually had to come back here to our rig to grab the carriers. The Lila baby to carry Ben, and then the freeloader so I could carry Brooke, so we could actually go in there because we didn't have anyone to watch the littles. But it was funny because when we were here, Tom was here at the rig, and we made a joke about never using the microwave in the outside kitchen.
That's where the Lila baby stays.
That's where the Lily baby stays, because it's a storage box.
Yes.
And we probably will never use it because it's super tiny. So it was kind of funny. We just talked about that, and then we go across the street, and they don't have the microwave there anymore. So
it's just a cabinet.
I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones not using that microwave.
Right. And then again, that's the microwave in the outside kitchen. We use the microwave convection oven inside all the time. This is just the one that's on the outside kitchen.
Yeah. So it's just 3 cabinets across instead of the microwave.
And it holds the carrier right now. So.
One thing I really like seeing, because I'm the one in charge of the tanks, is where the tanks are in the rig. Because I've always been kind of curious, because they all come out of one sewer pipe down there on the other side, but there are 3 tanks plus the freshwater tank, so you can see in the video that you can see where the 3 tanks are and how the hoses or how the pipes run down to the outlet. So now I know kind of how stuff is flowing. I think in my head I had it pretty much right.
Yeah.
It was just big square boxes, and then the black tank went straight out, and then the other 2 kind of came in like this, and that's how it was. But it was neat to see that, because
I had no idea where the freshwater tank was.
Right.
No idea whatsoever. And the freshwater tank is white.
Yeah.
Like it's like you can kind of see through white.
It's food grade.
Food grade.
Yeah, because it's potable water.
Right.
So yeah.
But the other tanks are all black.
Yeah, the other tanks are just probably ABS plastic. They're holding things that it's okay if it gets gross, because it's gross.
Right. But yeah, that was I had no frame of reference of what they would look like or where they would be or anything. I'm just kind of Brian would be like, yeah, it's like here, but I didn't know it was this big long rectangular box. Had no idea. But now you know too, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm sure it's like that across the board for RVs, like what they look like.
Yeah. And then another part that I liked was the step right after seeing those tanks is I knew that there was the underbelly cover, and that this is a 4 Seasons trailer because it has what they call Arctic insulation on it. But what I didn't know was that above the frame there's another layer of insulation, and then the floor, which has insulation in it as well. So there's a lot of insulation in the floor there, and the only gaps, I guess, would be where the holes were for the vents, but those are filled as you put the vents in. So that's that was neat to see. And then all of the insulation up in the roof as well.
soup for you.
I love hot soup.
And it's easy to tell that it has that much insulation because we've, you know, when we were still back in Virginia, we had this thing and it was down in the teens and it was very easy to stay warm inside.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the only issues we had was the water freezing out at the post, which is not anything to do with the RV. And you could also really see like the quality of the materials at every step. Everything was very solid and beefy and everything went together really well. And everything worked together really well. You know, we're touching everything on the inside and feeling the build quality and the textures and everything on the inside, but it was neat to be able to see it without the walls on because then we can see how everything goes together on the outside and kind of behind the scenes, if you will. The things that we know are there, but we've never been able to see before.
So once they have the walls up, they don't have the slides in yet. And so you still have these 3 gaping holes in the trailer, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You get to see kind of where the slide sits on and then the mechanisms that it uses and where they go underneath the floor. And then...
Yeah, because there's a huge frame piece. Like when you see the frame, you'll see a big piece of boxed steel that the frame or that the slide eventually like sits on to ride in. So that's all that exists before they attach the slide.
Yeah, and the slides are big. I mean, they look big here, and we know that they're big because that's where we spend most of our time is in, you know, the living room slide. But it fits the whole dinette, and it fits the whole, you know, place where we sit. And then to see it kind of like with that furniture, and then...
Just like sitting on the floor.
Yeah, it's just sitting on the floor next to it waiting to be assembled.
I thought the kitchen one was the cool one.
Oh.
Because it's sitting there, it has all the cabinets, it has a fridge in it, it's got a microwave, it's got an oven, and like it's got all of the stuff.
Yeah,
it's
just
sitting there. There's like just a whole row of them just sitting there ready to go in.
Right.
And then when we were walking through, Brooke was on my back, and the bunkhouse slide, there was a row of bunkhouse slides, and Brooke was like, "That's my bed." So it was neat.
It's cool that she recognized that that's
tell
what it was.
That's what that was.
Even though it was a completely apart, you know, kind of little abstract, seeing it just sitting there on the side. And these are quality rigs. I don't know if all of you are familiar with Grand Design, but these are like the coveted RVs. So, you know, it's not just slapping stuff together. This is quality.
Yeah. I mean, you've heard us say it before. We went hundreds of rigs before we chose this one. And a big reason for that was even though we found floor plans that we liked, bunkhouses that we liked, you would go in and you'd open and close cabinets and it would feel like it was going to break the next time you opened it, or the stairs would be really floppy and you'd like, I'm not a light dude, and I was like, these things are bending and things were rattle, and you know, it's kind of like you get in a Civic and you close the door and it's like tink, and you get in like a Mercedes and you close the door and it's like thud, and like the air pressure changes. Like there's quality. You get what you pay for with an RV for sure.
I was also really surprised. We kept seeing this green tape on everything, and Tom stopped and he was telling us that's where the people that are assembling the trailers, they notice that there's an imperfection or something that needs to be buffed out or touched up while they're doing it. Yeah,
like a scuff in the paint, or someone accidentally nicked something while carrying something around.
And they'll just put a little thing of green tape on there, and that lets them know when they get further down to whoever can fix it that this is an area that needs to be fixed. So that's like the first line of quality checks. Then it goes through and they use like red tape after it's completely done, and then they know this is something that needs a little bit more attention once it gets over to the place where they do that.
Yeah, they do the full inspection, and that's where the red tape comes out.
Right, and then they do the PDI, and they have these little things, little cards that say do not ship on them, and they have a list of little things that have to be done before they can ship it to where it needs to go.
Before it even leaves that building.
Right.
Like a rig does not leave that building until they have gone over it several times. And they even have water and electric in there. They hook everything up. They pressurize everything. They run water through it. They dump the water. They hook all the electrics up. They run all the slides in and out. Like they do everything.
They even take a flashlight and go along like the rig along the sides just to make sure there's no like blemishes or imperfections along the outside.
Yeah, checking for delamination and bubbles and scuffs and all that.
That's a lot of steps and a lot of layers to make sure that the quality product that they made is as quality when it rolls out. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
really cool to see.
And you know, we of course we see people complaining online about this is wrong, that's wrong, this is broken, that's broken, everything's a piece of junk. You know, and that's going to happen. Anything that is manufactured by human hands and even by machines, you're going to have issues with it. We've been in our RV for 9 months solid, and the only 2 things have broken. One of them was the foot pedal on the toilet. I just had to order a new one and replace that. And the other was the fan in the bathroom. The motor wore out, and I had to replace that. Neither of those things were made in this building. They were just installed in that building. So we've had, I don't think it's luck, because, you know, Tom was saying they have 60,000 of these, not this model, but 60,000 Grand Designs out there, and we're only seeing, you know, maybe a couple hundred, if even that are having serious complaints. So we love this RV, and it was so cool to be able to go in that building back there
Oh my gosh,
and
that's awesome.
see how it's built. Like I can't believe that it was ours that was being built there.
Hi, Jasper.
Hi.
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 Did you come to say hello?
So just one last word on the quality of Grand Design, and specifically their customer service. We just had a long conversation with our neighbors here at this campground, and they showed up yesterday afternoon with no appointment, and they were able to have a couple guys come out and look at their rig, see what was going on with their slides, and it's fixed today. So and they
even took it into the service center.
Yeah, they just drive tractors out and grab them and take them in and do some work on them. And so that's really awesome that, you know, they're able to do that. And also at the rallies, they do a yearly rally here in Indiana. It was about 2 weeks ago, and at these rallies they have a service crew that's walking around through all the rigs, and they will fix 3 things in your rig for free, like while you're there at the rally. Like that's awesome. So just we have been very happy with our Grand Design, and hopefully we continue to be happy with it.
If you have questions about our experiences with Grand Design, go ahead and leave them down below, or send us a message on Facebook or Instagram, and we'll be happy to talk to you about it. We love our Grand Design.
Yeah.
And we are so glad that you came along with us today to see how everything is done and how it's made from the bottom up, literally.
Very cool. Awesome.
As always, please like, comment, subscribe, talk to us down below about what you liked about this video, what you didn't like about this video. If you have questions about our Grand Design reflection or any other things, then we can try and get answers for you. And if you've seen our last video, we just launched our Patreon page, so visit us there as well. And we hope you join our family.
All right, we'll see you on the road. Bye.